What is up? Thank you for coming to my channel, Prison POV. Shout out to the joiners, shout out to Point of View crew, and shout out to those of you who are rocking that merch. If you can, send me a picture of you wearing the merch so I can post it to Instagram or community tab with your permission, of course. You know who else gets a shout out today, though, is the Inland Empire. Shout out to IE, which is made up of Riverside and San Bernardino County. Today we're going to talk about the San Bernardino County woods. They like to go by Berdoo, and I met a grip of dudes from Berdoo, and they're always solid. Shout out to the homeboy Bucky. But today we're going to talk about this dude named Chopper. What's interesting about Chopper is that I saw him on the streets of Bakersfield. I seen him in Kern County Jail, and I seen him in Wasco Reception. And each and every time I saw him, it was very interesting. The situations and the things that were going on were off the hook. Of course they were, otherwise wouldn't even be talking about today. So let's just dig right in, let's just kick it off and trip on this. So I met Chopper in Kern County Jail in pretrial. At the time, there was a grip of woods in there, so I didn't really communicate or hang out with him all that much. I knew who he was. I'd give him his hellos, I'd give him his respect, but he hung out with like a little bit different car. I hung out with these dudes, hung out with these dudes. Now his cellie, who we'll call Greedy, will be his name for the rest of this video. His cellie, Greedy, had the keys to the building for the woods. He was large and in charge. He called all the shots. He was running the program, but no one liked him. No one could stand him. In fact, we were plotting on him and in the process of removing him. Because not only did he have the keys to the pod, but he also was a porter. So what he would do is he would feed breakfast. And that meant every day he'd come up on 5, 6, 19, 29, all these extra breakfast trays. He would get all these extra breakfast trays and not share with anybody. He would take them all to the neck, to whereas the other porter, the Southsider dude, would come back every day with a big bag of breakfast, and he'd come back and they'd have a junta, and he would kick down his homies, and they would eat and chill. But no, not us, not the Peckerwoods in that pod. We had nothing coming extra, because old Greedy was out there and neck every last bite. And what he couldn't finish out there, he'd put in a cup, and he'd try to like sneak, and he'd palm, and he'd come back in, like try to hide in the cell. So no one liked him. We're in the process of removing him. With all that going on, there was a Southsider who was writing his people on the streets. And he was writing them some delicate information. I never found out what it was exactly he was saying, but he's obviously telling them some very delicate information. And now when he was writing them, even though they lived in Bakersfield, he'd put their name and then address, and he'd put Bakers, California, with the zip code, instead of Bakersfield. Now, a lot of the homies and people from Bakersfield will tattoo on themselves. They will put Bakers, or they'll put BKS, or sometimes they will put Bakersfield, but a lot of the Southsider gangs in Bakersfield just go by Bakers. So I don't know why, if he was doing like a little gang thing, or just to be funny, or to be clever, whatever the reason was, he was writing his people on the streets and putting Bakers instead of Bakersfield. Now, when you write mail from county jail, that rhymes, writing mail, from county jail, when you write mail from county jail, you can seal it up. The cops are not going to be able to read it. Now, when you go upstate to prison, you cannot seal your letters up. The cops read the outgoing and the incoming. To our county jail, they just read the incoming. They do not read the outgoing. So he was writing some delicate stuff, and he was sealing it up, and they couldn't read it. But a postmaster, a mailman, somebody in the post office saw his letter that it said Baker instead of Bakersfield, and did a return to sender. Okay, we went out to Baker's. We looked for his address. We can't find it because there's a town called Baker's. Whatever the reason, return to sender. Since it came back to the institution, the cops were able to open it, read it, see the delicate information, see what he was doing, and they went and hemmed him up, harassed him, and arrested him. Took him out of the pod. Everyone's like, oh man, we had like little bits of information to go on. Like, dang, can't believe that happened. I mean, what the heck? But Chopper took it a step further and was like, what an idiot. How stupid can you be? Why would he do that? He deserves to get in trouble, just laughing, making a big deal out of it. And when the Southsiders heard that, they got offended. And they started grouping, And they're like, we want Chopper handled for disrespecting our homie. He made that mistake. He did something like, got himself caught up. It doesn't give Chopper the right to clown him behind his back. We want to do something about that. So we knew the Southsiders were going to go jam up Greedy, who had the keys for the buildings for the whites in the pod. Of course, they're going to go take the problem they have with Chopper to Greedy. That's how it works. And we had already decided, this is where we're getting scandalous now, we had already decided that no matter what Greedy said, no matter what move he took in regards to Chopper being disrespectful to them, we as the Peckerwood Woodpile were going to come in and say, that was the wrong thing to do. You're out of line. We're going to dethrone you. You're not fit to serve. We're going to browbeat him and make him think whatever he did was a big mistake, and we're going to use that to remove him. Because we want him gone for taking all the breakfast trays. So, Southsiders came, hit him up, told him about Chopper. He said, I think he needs to be disciplined. He got up the woodpile. He's like, hey, check it out, guys. That's what happened. We need to discipline Chopper. And we said, absolutely not. Never that. We can't believe you're even considering it. Is there anyone else you'd like to go around and batter on behalf of another race? You seriously want to discipline Chopper over that? For using his First Amendment right of protected free speech? You're not fit to serve. Step down or be removed. Whoa, we browbeat him. He felt stupid. He felt wrong. He's like, all right, my bad. I'll get out of the way. Just like we knew he would. And since you're no longer the key holder, you're no longer the breakfast server either, you're getting replaced in both offices. You're getting replaced in both offices. He stepped down, got replaced. We're like, yes, love it when a plan comes together. But what to do with Chopper? The issue still remains. Southsiders, I gotta slow down. My mouth is not cooperating. My brain is feeding the words way too fast. My mouth's like, give me a break, brain. You're feeding it too fast, dude. Like, slow down. Give me a chance. Sorry, mouth, my brain just said. We still have the issue with Chopper. What to do with Chopper. And we can't discipline him. Because that was Greedy's idea. And you saw what we did to Greedy. I mean, we didn't beat him down, but we mentally beat him down. So we can't say, okay, I guess we'll discipline him. So we decided to squash it. And it came upon it was up to me, since he no longer had a key holder, had not appointed one yet. Splinter, go talk to the Southsiders, tell them to squash it. So I went up to the head dude. I go, hey, let bygones be bygones. He's like, what's a bygone? I go, I don't know. But I'm pretty sure it just means to squash it. He goes, why don't you just say to squash it? So this is going to be a difficult conversation. I was like, let's just squash it. Let's just leave it alone. No harm, no foul. He didn't mean no disrespect by it. He's like, no, the homies are mad. They want blood. They want action. But trip on this, what no one's seen coming, with the card I had hidden at the bottom of the deck, was I had a book called The Swan Song. Not only is it the best book ever, it's awesome, it's also 900 pages thick. So you're going to be able to escape the reality of you being in county jail by reading that book for like a good week, 10 days. It's such a good read, you'll get lost in it. I had that book, everyone was in line to read it, everyone wanted to read it next. He was in line about 5 people down, and I believe Chopper was next. So I told the key holder for the Southsiders, I go, look, just squash it. Bygones be bygones. I'll let you read Swan Song next. He's like, what? I can read Swan Song next? Let me see. Show it to me. Show it to me. I'm like, it's right here. It's right here, homeboy. There you go. Swan Song. He's like, all right, let's squash it. Just tell him to stay out of the way. He got the Swan Song. See, that fool had an ulterior motive. The homies were crying blood. Get this dude's disrespectful. He's like, we got to handle this. Until someone said, hey, gave you the book you've been waiting on about a week earlier than you thought you'd get it. Shoot the book. We're going to squash it. Bygones. Let's do the bygone things. Anyways, be that as it may, it worked out. It checked out. And I start getting like a half a waffle every other day. And a hard-boiled egg. A little bit of breakfast. Some oatmeal. Like a sneeze of eggs once in a while. It was awesome. So now I go to Wasco reception. I'm in there and I bump into Chopper. The crazy thing about that is you never see dudes from IE at Wasco reception. They always go to Delano. But one day a bus got rerouted. Some things went south. And a bus showed up at Wasco reception. And we got 6 dudes in our building from IE, Inland Empire. 5 of them from Riverside County. 1 of them from San Bernardino County. Turned out to be Chopper from Berdoo. I seen him. What's up, Wood? What's up, homeboy? Ain't seen him in since county jail. We're talking, this and that. And now, since those 6 dudes from IE, they all, the prison put them all right by each other. They had this little corner sewed up. They all slept by each other. They're representing to the fullest, working out twice a day. They're on their toes, and they're just with it, all the way with the business. I never even really seen Chopper that much, because he's always hanging out with his homeboys. But I was seeing him once in a while. One day, we're getting ready to get in a big riot with the Southsiders. Because there's this white Southsider from Ventura, and I believe he literally hated whites. He used to trip me out, and I'm thinking, I know you have a white mom and dad. I can tell by looking at you. White grandparents, an aunt and uncle, some siblings. I know you have white family members. Don't you love them? and by proxy love me as well. I mean, bro, how can you hate white people? But he had an attitude. He just did not like white people at all. And he lived next to this white dude, and they would bump heads all day long. And how prison is set up, if a Southsider and a white boy would have a problem, then everyone has a problem. There's no one-on-ones. So they start arguing, there's little tensions, voices get raised, everyone starts grouping, it's going to be a riot. So this day, they're at it again, they're arguing, but then it went one step further, because actually some shoving got involved. So it's a little bit more serious. Someone told me, bro, they shoved each other, they're pushing, people are grouping. I was like, what? I seen them grouping, so I went and snatched up all the Bakersfield boys. It's 8 Woods right there, including myself. Then I went and got the dudes from IE. That's 6, that's 14 of us. Went and got Fresno, that's 20, Orange County, LA. As I went downstairs, because it's 2 tiers, a C building, the bottom tier was in the bathroom, in the bottom tier in the corner where the bathroom was all the grouping, the riot was going to happen. I was upstairs and I heard about it. I gathered everybody, went downstairs, went to the corner. We showed up, we started grouping, then we came to the conclusion, why fight? Why riot all of us just because these dudes can't get along? How about these 2 dudes be disciplined, owe the house some burpees for being knuckleheads, and then we'll get the cost to separate them and move them to just stop the drama because it's bullshit every day. So we worked it out. The whole building was grouping. The cops like, break it up, break it up. Okay, we started separating. We came to a conclusion. I turn around to go back upstairs, and I see Elf. Elf. He's one of the baddest dudes from Bakersfield. He's all the way with the business. He doesn't have any ink, but he's hella buff. He has crazy curly hair. That's why they call him Elf. And he has like elf ears and an elf nose. Looks like a straight up elf. It looks like he could be, like Bilbo Baggins in like Lord of the Rings. Totally full-blown elf on his. He's a fighter, he's a scrapper, he's a convict. He's all the way with it. So everyone was downstairs grouping because of the fight. Everyone knew about it except for Elf. And so I turn this corner and he's like eating a soup and he's pissed off. And he sets the soup down. He's like, Splinter, what's up, bro? He's like, check it out, I'm a heavy hitter. If you have like an altercation with another race, you should call me to go down there. I'm front line. I'm a front line Peckerwood, homeboy. I can't believe you a group and have all this going on and not tell me and just leave me out of it. And I was like, no, I asked Chopper. I was like, Chopper. I asked Chopper to tell you, which I didn't. I was like, Chopper. Chopper came out. I was like, dude, why didn't you tell Elf? They were getting busy. I even told you he was in his bed area making a soup. And Chopper looked all confused. And Elf was like, what's up, Chopper? If you go to prison with that attitude and you're that lackadaisical, you're going to have something put up in you. Because if someone tells you to give somebody else a verbal, that's very important. Sometimes more important than something on paper. Splinter asked you to give me a verbal and he didn't even tell me. He's like, well, and I was like, damn, Chopper, damn, homeboy. And later I was going to tell Chopper, no, I'm just kidding, dog. I didn't really tell you. I was trying to get Elf off my back. But he like hook, line, sinker, the whole thing. I just always ran with it and let him just believe it forever because I was just kind of a trip. And Elf really gave him the what for and browbeat him and was like, how come you give me my verbal? I had a locket of Elf's hair because it was so crazy big and long and curly. One day I walked by and I cut a big old piece with a razor blade and I put it in a book. And a couple of years later in prison, I opened that book and I was like, whoa, what's this? And I was like, oh yeah, it's an elf curl. Trip on that. But Chopper and I were in that building after that riot almost happened. After Elf busted his gut, everything calmed down and was cool. Chopper and I were still talking. Someone in the corner was cooking wine, they were burping it. Whenever you burp your wine, it makes it smell like wine real bad. I didn't even notice the wine smell. I was just too busy talking to Chopper. Well, a cop came through, smelt the wine, saw Chopper and I standing there, saw 2 Southsiders standing there, said, you 2, and you 2, you 4, come with me. And that included me. Like, what? Went downstairs, took us to the Sallyport, put us in the cages, had us rolled up out of the dorm, the cops did, no write-up, but sent to D-Yard, because he thought maybe we had something to do with the wine. Pardon me, Spencer. One moment, por favor. Thought we had something to do with the wine. We're like, I'll have him so fast. Next thing I know, my D-Yard in the cells, Chopper's in my celly. But as I went walking to my new cell, I seen one of the cells and there were little windows in the doors, and this dude was so big, so gargantuous, I couldn't see his face. I just seen just like a big old, huge body, chest, big old, some big ass buff dude in the cell, a couple cells down from mine. His body hogged up the whole window. I was like, damn. So we went in our cell, me and Chopper, I said, that's a swole ass full. Wonder what they're feeding him. Chopper and I went in the cell, made our pleasantries with the dude who had the keys, shot him our paperwork, shot some kites. I told the Bakersfield homeboys downstairs, what's up, I'm here. I mean, look, we're down the same tier, bottom tier, D4. Other side of the tier, Bakersfield boys, hey, what's up? Told everybody we were here, get settled in, make our beds. Hey, what's up, Chopper? And then all of a sudden I hear on the tier, Splinter. I'm, hey, what's up? He's like, hey, man, that's Splinter from Bakersfield? And I was like, yeah, what's up? He goes, hey, it's me, Dice. Now, Dice, this wood from Ventura, who I couldn't stand. because a couple years prior to this, a couple years previous to this, we were in a prison building together. Some Gallagher hit the building, and he wanted some. But too bad, Dice, because you already transpacked. We're at reception. He already transpacked the TAF CCF. No way to pay for it. Your stuff, you can't have any. And he was jonesing out. And he's like, come on. He's like, Splinter, co-sign for me. Because soon I get to TAF CCF, I'll call my people. I'll give them the address. I'll send the $50. It'll be all good. I'll write you. He just like was at me. Come on, Splinter. Come on, co-sign. I'm a good dude. And he was a good dude. He was solid. I was always seeing him act stellar. So I said, all right, homeboy, I'll co-sign. I said, I think he'll pay. So I co-signed for him. He went to TAF CCF, never paid, never sent nothing. We sat there for 6 weeks, never heard from him. I'm like, thought scandalous. Now here we are a couple years later on D-Yard. He's like, Splinter, what's up? It's me, Dice. I'm getting a paper. He's like, hey, bro, I apologize for that. That $50, it wasn't my intentions. It was my people. It was a mix-up communication. And I shot him back a kite, and I was like, no, homeboy, I was a trip on this. You're glad I'm not the type of dude that would shoot a kite to TAF CCF to tell them to check you and to handle you, because I knew I'd see you in the future. I knew one day I'd bump into you, and I'd handle it myself. I can't believe you left me hanging like old set of nuts. I co-signed for you, and bro, we're going to handle it. And he shot me back a kite. He said, I respect that, Splinter. It's all good, man. We can handle it. He's like, yeah, how much time you doing? He goes, I just broke off 12 years for a bunch of steroids. This and that. And I was like, steroids? And I thought about that big buff-ass dude I saw. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm just doing a little violation. That's cool. You got 12 years. I was like, steroids? Messing with that stuff. What, are you using them now, too? And he writes back, he's like, yeah, I'm using them. I got pretty swole. I put on 50 pounds of muscle. It's crazy. He's like, I'm coming here and working out, getting smaller because I don't have the right diet and the right weights and steroids anymore. And everyone else is working out and getting bigger, and I'm working out getting smaller. And he's like, yeah, but I put on 50 pounds of muscle. So I was like, oh, okay, yeah, cool. I was like, you know what, man, that $50, dude, a couple years ago, let bygones be bygones, brother. And don't ask me what a bygone is, but I'm down to squash it. I can't even remember that far back. All I remember is you're a good dude. You're cool. Everything's gravy, dog. I'm not even tripping on it, homeboy. If you want to throw me a bag of coffee, make a ride. I don't even care, dog. So what's up? How you been? So steroids, huh? Everything's gravy. And then Chopper's like, I got your back on this. I'm like, no. It's good. Everything's good. All right. And Dice, I seen him in the day room. He was like, hey, what's up, Dyson? Good, dude. I didn't even trip on that 50, homeboy. Why would I? But hey, the craziest fight. Oh, no, one more thing. I apologize. Almost forgot a story. When I seen Chopper on the streets. I go to this. All day long, I'm running from the cops. They're chasing me. All day long. Some real, some imagined. And look, everything looks like a nail to a hammer. So I'm seeing cops everywhere. I end up going to this trap house. This is drug connection. It's real hot. The police are always like going by there and raiding it. So why would I go there when I'm like running from the cops? Seems like I'd go to church, an underground bunker, a tree house, the river, a field, whatever. But I went to a hot trap house. Anyway, I go in there and I start saying, hey, I think I seen a cop down the street. They're like, really, Splinter? I was like, well, he's in a pink Cadillac. I have heard of cops. I even think I seen the horns on the front. There's a sheriff. There's a marshal. I saw the white Cadillac hat. There's cops everywhere. Chopper was there. I didn't even realize it. Old Chopper from County Jail in Wasco. I was silly with the dude Dice and all that. So I'm talking to these people tripping on cops, and Chopper's like, Splinter, and I'd turn around and go, hey, what's up? I was like, Copper. I didn't even realize I called him Copper, because I meant to say Chopper, but everything looks like a nail when you're a hammer, and I was tripping on cops, and he gave me like a weird look, and I didn't know why. So then we continued talking and stuff, and I said it again, Copper. And he's like, hey, Splinter, don't disrespect me, homeboy. He's like, I don't even know these dudes around this pad. My first time here, I was excited to see you, and you showed me, started disrespecting me. He's like, if you don't chill out, we're going to have to fight. And I was like, oh, hell no, I don't fight cops, brother. You got me twisted. Dude, the craziest fight I ever seen in jail was this dude got a picture from the streets. This guy got a picture. And it was a picture of his old lady and his dog. And he had a good-looking old lady. I mean, she was good-looking. Everyone thought she was beautiful, model status. And it was a good-looking dog, too. But anyway, he's like showing everybody to check out, So one guy saw the picture and was like, dang, that's a beautiful dog. And everyone's like, oh, what, dude? That's a beautiful dog? And what about the woman next to the dog? Do you even see that? He's like, oh, yeah. So everyone, because of that, would just clown him all the time. Just ride him. Make all kinds of jokes, condescending jokes about what kind of eyeballs you have. Why would you notice a dog instead of the woman? And always just mess with him hardcore. Until one day he couldn't take it anymore, and he just took off on the cop that had the building. I think that he thought the cop says something about a dog. And I think he just thought, now the cop's involved. Because I think next to him was someone who got some mail. And their last name was Stog or something. Like, inmate Stog, you got mail. He's like, dog! I don't care about the dog! And just knocked the cop out. It was crazy. Like, you can't torture somebody in there. The walls are already just closing in on you. And I'm getting ready to cut the string and let it fly. How much time? I feel like we have more time to kick us in dust. Don't go anywhere. There's stories galore. 20 minutes. Cut string and let it fly. I got more videos for you. It's the end of November. Almost didn't get that out. The merch is awesome. Hook yourself up with some merch. I should kick into another story, huh? Real quick. I should kick another story. And I'm just going to leave right there. I'm going to cut string and let it fly. Another utmost respect. Peace.